Good, whatever time it might be to all you wonderful people out there. I'm Eggnog, your everyday LEGO Star Wars enthusiast, and today I'm making a part 2 to a previous video I made, which was the Missing Rebel Flagships video. That video did very well. Thanks to everyone who watched that, I really appreciate it. But today I thought I'm going to continue this topic by talking about some Imperial / First Order flagships that I think LEGO Star Wars should make. Now I think when it comes to Imperial First Order flagships, LEGO's done a much better job representing them than they have with Rebel flagships necessarily. So just to kind of list off what we've gotten, very early, 2002, we got the first ever UCS Star Destroyer. Super iconic, classic set. It's got that classic LEGO look. I love this one. It's something I really wish I had. I wish it wasn't so expensive. 2006, we got a Playscale Star Destroyer. Very nice set. Again, kind of that classic LEGO playset look. Kind of weird. I remember it had the bridge for the Star Destroyer. Had like a big gap in it so you could like see the characters in there. I always thought that looked a little strange. In 2014, we got a much better Playscale version of the Star Destroyer. It was one of the first sets that ever used spring-loaded shooters. It was a great set. It presented very well and it played very well. In 2017, we got the First Order Star Destroyer, known as the Finalizer in canon. I think this is a great set. I'm not a huge fan of the sequel sets, especially that very first line of Force Awakens sets. I thought they were all pretty weak. But the First Order Star Destroyer definitely goes above and beyond. I think it's a very good-looking set, and it's got some great figures. 2010, we got the MIDI-scale Star Destroyer, which was kind of an interesting thing. And then they didn't do too well, so they kind of canceled MIDI-scale. But it's coming back just this year. We're getting the 2023 Super Star Destroyer, which I think looks very great. We also got an Imperial Light Cruiser in 2021 with Moff Gideon, and also the UCS Super Star Destroyer, another classic, iconic LEGO set. Certainly all great sets, and I think the Star Destroyer is super iconic. It's that very first thing you see. I do think, honestly, considering the last good Playscale Star Destroyer we got was in 2014. I mean, that was 8 years ago now, or 9 years ago, actually. So I think it's definitely time we should be getting another Playscale Star Destroyer. And I think one way this could come is, we know Thrawn's coming back for Ahsoka, so it would make sense to see the ISD Chimera again, which for those of you who don't know is Thrawn's command ship. Basically, it's just your regular ISD, but with a really cool tattoo on the bottom. We saw this a lot in Rebels. I would be very surprised if it doesn't show up in Ahsoka. We've gotten the leak, so we know it's not going to be one of the Ahsoka sets that comes out this year, 2023, but maybe in 2024. We get just a regular Super Star Destroyer, but it comes with Thrawn, and it's got that cool tattoo on the bottom, you know, that cool symbol. Another thing we've seen recently in Star Wars is the Cantwell class Star Destroyer. It made a very cool appearance in Andor, such a unique design, of course, based off that classic Colin Cantwell concept art. I really do think we've had a criminal lack of Andor sets since the show came out. And this is one that I really definitely think they should make. I'd definitely pick one up. I don't know if it would do too great. I know Andor wasn't the biggest show, and this design is not the most popular, but I would definitely really like if LEGO did something like it. And already on the topic of the Cantwell class, let's talk about another Star Destroyer. That's whole deal is kind of using tractor beams, and that is the Interdictor class Star Destroyer. Kind of a smaller Star Destroyer. It's got these kind of like circular orb things almost coming off to the side. We saw these a bit in Rebels. Again, not too much of a dissimilar look from the original ISD, but definitely a cool variation. It's definitely something I'd like to see in LEGO. Now for something a little more unique in its look, let's talk about the Onager class Star Destroyer, if I'm pronouncing that right. Super unique design. I can't claim to know a lot about this ship, but I've definitely seen the design. I've seen it from Star Wars Armada and artwork pieces. It's an incredible design. It really is super unique, super cool, super menacing. I think it's like a really big turbo laser on the end, as you can see in the picture there. It's kind of got that big blaster coming out the top of what it looks like. I could be wrong. If you know anything about this, please talk about it in the comments. I'd love to know more, but I love the design. and I would love to see LEGO make something like this. When it comes to classic variations of the Star Destroyer, you really can't go very far without talking about the Victory Class Star Destroyer. Such a similar but different design, super iconic. I've seen a ton of mocks of this. I do think it's something that I've seen at least a little bit of fan demand for. It's not big on the screens or anything, but it's definitely iconic in the sort of more underground world of Star Wars. But again, just another cool kind of variation of the Star Destroyer that I think would be very cool if LEGO decided to do. Moving on to the First Order, I'd like to talk about the Supremacy from Episode 8. The Supremacy, as much as I don't like Episode 8, I love the design of the Supremacy. I think it's such a menacing, unique shape. It's huge. I think it's like the size of like three Super Star Destroyers, like lengthwise. This massive ship. I think this would be great in that MIDI style, that MIDI scale thing we've been seeing lately with, again, that Super Star Destroyer in 2023. I would just love to see some version of this made in a set. There is a pretty big lack of sequel sets. I know it's not the most popular for sure, but I would love to see this as anything from a MIDI scale set to a play set to a fully fledged UCS set. To finish off this kind of shorter list today, we have the Fulminatrix. Kind of a weird design. I like it. It's very unique. It's got that huge bridge. It's kind of this flat, wide triangle with the massive cannon on the bottom. I'm only saying this because we saw in LEGO Star Wars the Complete Saga and one of the DLC updates, and I think it's a cool design, and it looks good in LEGO Star Wars, and I like Star Destroyers. So any Star Destroyers we can get, I'll take them. Anyway, I realized that was kind of a shorter, more scatterbrained video today. I wanted to get something out, and I thought this would be a fun thing to talk about. I really appreciate you watching. It means a whole heck of a lot to me. I'd really appreciate seeing you in the next review or video or whatever I decide to do. But until then, make sure you stay safe.